Where do you want to go tonight?
A determined crease announces itself between the girl's eyebrows, pulling her thoughts inward as she contemplates. Gently, she circles her thumb around the tip of her index, now middle, now ring finger. 1, 2, 3. 3 worlds, one of moonlight, one of flower petals, and one of sea foam. Where to go? The girl registers the importance of this decision in her body, its weight on her eyelids as she leans towards sleep. In her muscles, she can feel the pleasant soreness of a day spent swinging from tree branches, her skin tanned with the type of fairy dust that turns to mud when water is added. She lets out a small yawn, pulling sound out of her throat and setting it loose into the waiting telephone wires. Where do you want to go, Mama?
No, you choose.
We can choose together. Sometimes it's the landscape that sways them in one direction or another. Other times, the answer comes packaged in a whispered impulse. More often than not, it is both. A desire for comfort and serendipity pasted together with a wobbly hand and Elmer's glue. Wish you were here.
I know, honey, me too. I'm picking you up from school tomorrow, though, okay?
And we will see each other tonight.
Yes, of course.
They are making plans so they can find each other without a map, road sign, or smartphone app. Where they are going, there is no electricity, no industry, no highways or fast track or straight lines or geometric rules of point A and point B. Material tangibility becomes moot in realms that refuse to play by reality's rules.
We could go to the ocean.
Maybe. This place is flavored with the fresh sting of salt water. It settles in your ears, on your nose, and in the tip of your tongue. The waves rumble and break, saturating the parched skin of sand and rock below. It is breathtaking from the beach, yes, but she does not wish to play the observer. She begins to run toward the blue expanse, her heels sinking slightly into the sand as a memory of gravity reminds her not to fly. Not just yet, anyway. Her toes tickle the surf, but she doesn't stop there. She has always marveled at the children who don't want to get wet, the ones who jump away screeching when the water comes near. Why? She always thought to herself. Why would you want to remain human when you could become a mermaid? As she splashes into the waves, the transformation is almost immediate. Every inch of her that drops below the surface, ankles, shins, calves, begins to fuse together. The water becomes deeper and she can no longer stand. Knees, thighs, hips, and she's ready to swim. She plunges below the water with a flourish of her mermaid tail and begins to explore the world under the water's surface. As she exhales with her new underwater lungs, she breathes in the world around her. Inhale. Light brown coral shines with the hue of refracted sunlight. Exhale. Thousands of colorful fish paint rainbows in the swirling currents. Inhale. The scent of seaweed before it's plucked and dried by human hands. Exhale. The swish of curious mermaid tails as they explore this underwater palace. This is not a place of straight lines. Here she travels in the spirals of an indecisive yet elegant current. There is nothing here to remember the clumsy imprint of feet that will never quite dance on beat. Here, She can dance with gentle abandon to the tune of an underwater sea breeze. Her hands close around a seashell as it descends toward the ocean floor. The shape in her palm reminds her that inside this shell, it is possible to hear the ocean. She smiles because she knows the reverse is possible too. So she holds the ocean up to her ear and becomes the shell that has learned to sing the water's song.
The flowers, then?
It's a possibility. Here, pathways zigzag in curious dances behind trees, the finish line unseen. There are many colors. She can see hundreds of shades and hues in falling flower petals as they slide across the back of a breeze. She can hear them in the soft yellow buzzing of honeybees and the bright calls of passing birds, in the light purple hue of sun and wind and the shimmer of dew on fairy wings. She looks up to see the flowers. They are much bigger here, or she is much smaller, or possibly both. But she does not find this strange. After all, scale only truly matters when we wish to measure something, and her reason for visiting goes far beyond the practicality of a plastic ruler or measuring stick. The sunlight catches the petals of her rainbow world and calls for a game of tag. Catch me if you can! Her toes itch in the dewy grass, and she knows this is not a place for standing still. Finding the nearest stem, she pulls herself up to the top of its lavender heart. And she sees them then. The rest of the flower fairies dancing across, around, through the landscape. The itch relocates itself from her toes to her shoulder blades, and she leaps off the ground, certain her new wings will catch her. It is exhilarating to fly. She speeds through the scents of budding roses and fresh wild grass, dancing circles with the others. It's a celebration of mobility and spirit. Blackberry juice is served in acorn shells that tingle her tongue with rich sweetness and dissolve into an energy that will not dwindle until late into the night.
The clouds, though?
Let me think about it. This is a resting place. A place to curl up in the stuffing of powder clouds and listen to the song of the moon. There are fairies here too. They have transformed from playful to luminescent and ethereal. This is an atmosphere as opposed to a story, almost entirely tactile in language. She can feel this world floating in her core. The possibility of rain before it forms and falls from the sky. The call of birds who have found their way to the top of the world. The muted light that seeps in through cracks in her subconscious. This sensory palette winds itself around her, tight enough to shelter, loose enough to avoid harm. The world holds her, and she is safe. As she snuggles into the warmth of moonlit cloud matter, the moonlight crystallizes into a mother's embrace. She heard from someone that it was impossible to sleep on a cloud, that it wouldn't hold you up. But now she smiles, confident in her first-hand knowledge of the subject. Clouds and moonlight are, in fact, the most durable materials of all.
So, Rose, are you still there?
Yes, of course.
Have you decided where we're going?
Almost. She will make up her mind tonight, and again the next night, and the next, and the next, until the details of her worlds begin to fade and adulthood warns her not to rely too heavily on dreams. Tonight, as she brushes her teeth, her hair, and slips into her pajamas, she knows she's ready for sleep. She is spending the night with her dad, in his boathouse, as she always does on Tuesday, Wednesday, and alternating weekends. This is why she has made plans to meet Mama in Dreamland. She is not a baby anymore, but she certainly does not wish to navigate the subconscious world alone if it can be helped. She says goodnight to Daddy, returns to her little room at the bow of the boat, and falls asleep to the sway of miniature waves under a floating house.